Vampires, Nazis, and castles. These are just some of my favorite. No, actually, no, Nazis. They're not my favorite things. I no, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have put Nazis in the opening. Anyway, you get the introduction. New comic from AWA called Out. Basically, about Nazis, vampires, and castles. And let me reiterate: Nazis. They're not my favorite things. Vampires, though, on the other hand, I do love vampires. So, but yeah, no, Out. It's a new AWA comic that I'm so excited to get into. And I just love it so much, and I can't wait to get into it. But yeah, it's a new AWA comic coming called Out, which is a vampire tale. And like I said, I think I just put it perfectly in the intro. Vampires, Nazis, and castles. Do I really need to say any more? That concludes my review. No, it's a comic that, let me give you the little plot. It's in the waning days of World War II, with the Allies advancing, a desperate Nazi officer unearths an ancient force of evil that he hopes will turn the tide of the battle. A vampire. To test the power of the secret weapon, he unleashes the monster on an unexpected group of Allied POWs, and it's up to Nocona, a Comanche language expert, to communicate with the vampire to find out what it really wants. So I think the real moral of this comic is if you ever come across a vampire, just talk to it. Like, I mean, he's human. Well, actually, no, he's not human. He is a vampire. Well, unless he's a human vampire. But then again, we're being very specific, aren't we? It could be like vampires, they don't discriminate. It could be an alien vampire. But just talk to it. Hear it out, understand it. But yeah, enough of my waffling. This comic is written by my good friend Rob Williams, who I've had on the channel a couple of times. I had him on for my Suicide Squad panel and for a solo interview. He's a huge diva, but what comic book writer isn't? But yeah, it's a fantastic book, and I just have to pick it up. I believe as of time of recording, issue 2 is probably already out, and maybe even issue 3, because I'm very slow at my reviews. But I'm too busy being very epic and having a YouTube channel where I talk about comic books. Yeah, don't have much friends, but I do have a comic book channel. So anyway, yeah, Out, amazing new comic, which I'm so excited to get into. And let me just talk about what I loved about it. The creative team on this book is fantastic as always. Written by my good friend, like I said, Rob Williams. We're very good friends, best friends maybe. Well, I mean, I'm not really his best friend, but he does bother me a lot. But I mean, again, which comic book writer doesn't know? He's a brilliant writer, Rob Williams. Will Conrad is the artist. What an amazing artist. His art in this is just fantastic. Marco Lesko is the colorist. Brilliant as always. I love Marco's work. He's done quite a few stuff. He's a fantastic colorist. And Sal Cipriano, not sure if I pronounced that right, he's the letterist. Or the letterer. He got to do Old Hans, and his letters on that was fantastic. Like, I think he's gotten to do I think he does most of the AWA stuff, and all of his work is constantly written. He's actually one of my favorite letters currently working in comics. I've picked out a few pages which I really like his letters on, which I'll be showing in a minute. Tim Bradstreet is the cover artist right here. I believe this is the main cover, but this is an amazing cover right there. And who else? Mike Deodato Jr. is a variant cover artist. He's a brilliant artist. Lee Loughridge is a variant cover colorist. I despise Lee Loughridge. I do hate him, but I hate that he's so talented. I hate him as a person, but you can't deny his talent. Like I say that in all my interviews, but he's just such a good colorist. Keyla Valero is Space Cadets comic exclusive variant cover artist. Chris Bust is a 616 exclusive variant cover artist. And Bjorn Barends is the Linebeakers comic exclusive variant cover artist, and John Gallagher is the Sad Lemons comic exclusive variant cover artist. You can see all the pages there, and that's an amazing way to show each of the people who worked on the book. AWA Upshots presents. This is actually only a 5-issue miniseries, so it means there's only 5 issues. But still, that's just still fantastic, and I can't wait to read the rest. It's very rare for me to love a series this much, and I think Rob is just such a talented writer. Like, all of his work constantly is just fantastic. He definitely knows how to write a good comic, which he understands the basics of writing comics, and he's just fantastic. And in the opening page, we see. Just look at that opening brilliant page. And like I said, the lettering here, I love that type of font he has here. If he kind of does that for introduction, that's Sal. I'm not sure you can see it because I'm recording this on my toaster. But there's just some more fantastic letters. Like I said, Sal's just such a fantastic letters with the amazing art. And I love how every time someone's speaking in German, you see it. And also a lot of people speak Wales, which I didn't know was a language up until Rob started writing stuff in it. No, money mess. And I didn't know. I'm very well educated. I just don't know. I assume Welsh is just the same as speaking Irish. It's all just one language, isn't it? I mean, if it's not English, I don't have to know it. No, money mess around. And Welsh was really interesting to see a lot of Welsh in this and see some Welsh characters. And I think I know Rob is a fan of war comics just based on the stuff he's written. And in a few of his interviews, he talked about like war stuff. And so he really understands how to write good story with really likable characters. Like I said, the main character, Nocona, is a character I'll be getting into, but I really loved his work. And like I said, the artist on this did a fantastic job. I mean, I don't know how the artist is so good, Will Conrad himself, but I mean, you look at some of the panels, I mean, drawing mountains must be a pain in the arse, but he does a fantastic job right here and he pulls it off so perfectly. I'll go to a few pages where they really show, because basically, the place where these people are being sent is to a castle in the mountains. I was explaining the plot of this comic to my friend the other day, and he just thought it was badass because I mean, vampire Nazis castles. I mean, what's not to love? Like I just put that perfectly there. But we can see the castle. Basically, they're all being sent up there, and they're going to unleash a vampire. And I think that's just such an interesting concept. And I saw so many people saying, I love this concept. And I think Rob's going to do the execution just as perfectly. And Will Conrad's art, I mean, you see there, just look at that castle. Look at that page. I don't understand how an artist can do something like that. I assume it's because he's a robot or maybe an alien. Will Conrad, if you're watching this, I know you're an alien or a robot. One or the two, just let me know which. It has to be one of them. Maybe even a little bit of both, a robot from another planet. And Marco Lesko on the colors. And coloring snow will never not baffle me because I don't know. Like, it's not always just white and like just the shadows and stuff and coloring mountains. I mean, like I said, I've just compared this page. The colors, it's amazing. And like I said, the whole team really gels there. And like the cover is brilliant by Tim Bradstreet there. And another series, Telepaths, which you should all go pick up. I've been loving that so far. Maybe a review of that will be coming soon, but I'll go find some more brilliant pages there. Look at that. Like I said, I just really love this book. I mean, you can feel the love that goes into it in the heart. The whole creative team really gels well together, like I touched on. But everything about this book is so fantastic. And like, the thing I've noticed about Rob is that he's fantastic with dialogue. Each character feels so natural. And the main character, Nocona, he's a really interesting character. We don't know much about him. I'd love to find out more. But he's a Comanche language expert. And he's Comanche. I didn't know. I assume some of this is actually historically accurate. And my World War II knowledge is not exactly, very high. I'm too busy, being cool and having friends. Anonymous, and that's obviously a lie. I'm too busy knowing too much about comics. But no, I'd love to find out more. And I think just when he puts it in a comic like this, it's a really interesting way to format. And I know what he touched on, especially, with something like vampires, that we don't know it's a vampire. We assume it's a vampire because it's eating people. But is it a vampire? And it's kind of like he's kind of leaving that up to, anyone's guesses. It could be a vampire if that's what you interpret it as, for people's interpretations. But I don't know. And then we get to see this character right here. He's kind of the general. He's kind of like the evil mastermind. And he has to have a German name because if you're having a bad guy, he has to have a German name. That's not even me. That's just a matter of fact. Like Hans Gruber, and his brother, Simon Gruber, don't know, one of the Grubers. I assume this guy is probably like by 2 degrees of separation related to Hans Gruber somehow. I assume there's just like a little meeting of just bad guys that they all go to. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I doubt I'm wrong though very much. But anyway, sorry, let me just go back. And Nocona goes, I just forgot his name there for a second. Nocona goes and he meets some of the other prisoners there. And what I love about this comic is that I kind of believe it's going to be like a survivalist comic, like can they escape? And Nocona is kind of forced into this situation. We can see that he's a nice guy, like he tries to calm down someone earlier. And, we see that they're all kind of good people and they all want the common goal of trying to escape. And they don't really know if they can. But in the final page, we see something fantastic. We're introduced to a new threat. And I won't say what it was, but let's just say someone got caught by the vampire. The vampire did something that maybe he shouldn't have. But yeah, it's a 5-issue series, which I'm so excited for. War is Hell, Say Hello to the Devil is the little blurb for issue 2, which is on sale November 10th. As of time of recording, that's 4 days ago. So yeah, issue 2 is in stores right now, and I have it ordered, so it should come here next week, I'd say. If I'm right, which I probably am, because I order it from Forbidden Planet, and Forbidden Planet hate me, so they'll send it next week. Yeah, I just bother them with the emails. No, normally they send it and it's just postage-wise, it takes a while to get to Ireland. It's no problem, honestly. I'm just so excited to read issue 2, and I think it's a fun comic, and I think there's a bit of a slow building up until we finally get to see what happens with this vampire, and I think that's just fantastic there. But yeah, like, let me touch on the brilliant cover again by Tim Bradstreet. But yeah, out issue 1, highly recommend you pick it up from your local comic book store. You don't know what you're missing. It's a fantastic book, and if you're a comic book fan, it's the right thing to do. And it's such a fun book with fun characters, and yeah, but it's also about vampires, and what's not to love about vampires. And maybe let me touch on that being a fun book. It's fun as in it's unapologetically a comic book with all these great concepts, but there's also like this gritty realism to it, which I found in most of Rob's work. Maybe a review of Old Haunts will be coming soon because I just did an interview with Lawrence Campbell, so I figure why not. But yeah, And I know Lawrence and Rob are working together soon on Short of Hyperborea or something like that. I basically have it pronounced perfectly. But yeah, I would highly recommend you go pick up Out issue 1 and issue 2 from your local comic book store, and then pick up the pre-order all 5 issues, and I'll assume they'll all be collected. But yeah, go pick up Out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. If possible, please make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me over on Twitter at SamboGizmo1. And please donate to the National Deaf Children's Society. As always, every cent helps. If you do have the means, it would be much appreciated. But if not, that's no worries at all. Go check out the creative team. I'll show the page once again where you can find them. And what I also touched on is that the design of the vampire, I think, is fantastic. And maybe some images will be popping up if I decided to get my friend Luke to edit it. I have him do most of my work, so I'm sure he did. You know, like I said, I'm just freeload off Luke. Luke's a fantastic editor, and I appreciate his work as always. But there's the creative team that you should all check out. You can go check all of them out on Twitter, I assume. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. But yeah, stay safe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.